Okay, so how does it happen? How do you go from being that person who is constantly starting new things but never like sticking with it? You're that person who starts the new running plan, that person who starts the new workout plan, that new eating healthy plan, that meal planning plan. You're always starting a new planner, you're starting a new journal, you're starting, but life happens and you stop. Everything unravels. You quit. It gets too much. It gets overwhelming. You just can't swing with it. How do you go from being that person who's always starting and stopping to being that person who just kind of consistently does? Like, sure, it's not perfect. There's some challenges and some mistakes here and there, but you just are that person who consistently shows up for themselves. How do you do it? How do you go from starting and stopping to just consistently being that person? I'm going to show you in today's video, but let's start with why this is important. I like to think of this for a couple of reasons. One, this is your only life on this planet, your one and only life. If you don't take time to figure this out, you're always going to be struggling. There's that cheesy saying about putting the oxygen mask on first before you put it on for others. If you don't take care of yourself first, it's going to be harder to take care of other people. And I find that we kind of have like breakdowns or meltdowns or a lot of resentment towards other people. It's hard to interact with other people if you're not taking care of yourself. So it's really important to figure out a way to take care of yourself, even though life is going to throw challenges and hurdles and obstacles in your way. So the first thing that I like to tell people is they got to figure out where in their day they're actually going to take care of themselves. I think that one of the best things that you can do is start the day with taking care of yourself. I call this self-care sessions. And in 2021, it's going to be called the Year of Growth self-care sessions. I'm going to teach you what you can do, how you can start to implement self-care sessions for yourself. So the first thing is starting in the morning. When I was a kindergarten teacher, we always started the day with the most important thing, right? Like our brains are fresh. We're like energized. We're like excited for the day. We're not like bogged down, right? Same thing for you. I want you to start your day by taking care of yourself. So what I like to do is grab a sheet of paper. Yes, I use online calendars. I use scheduling things online, but I like to have a sheet of paper because seeing it mapped out like this, it's like, this is my entire day. This is my entire week on this paper. I can start to see where I'm spending a lot of my time. And if I am neglecting self-care, I can see that based on this paper too. So in this email that I'm sending to you, there is a copy of this. It starts at 6 a.m. Maybe you have to wake up earlier than 6 a.m. You can adjust it to how you need. But what you're going to do is you're going to take a really fun marker. Like, I'm not joking how important it is to use fun colors. Take a marker and you're going to make it colorful and make it look like something that you want to look at. It's a lot more enjoyable to look at paper than it is to look at a screen. And you're going to block off like, okay, from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., that is my self-care time. Look at that, right? And you're going to mark it off, and you're going to mark it off for the whole week. I suggest marking it off for weekends as well, especially during the pandemic, and here's why. If it feels good, if taking time for yourself feels good, why wouldn't you want to do it on weekends? If it makes you feel gross, it helps you feel closer to feeling good and away from feeling gross. Why wouldn't you want to do it on weekends? It might look a little bit different. Maybe it's not at that same time. I like to keep things at the same time because my brain and my body they know what to expect. But let's just start out with figuring out some point in your morning where you're going to take time for yourself, okay? So a lot of people, the mistake they make is they like jump right in, like, oh, I'm going to start eating healthy, but they haven't mapped out like, okay, like how is that going to look? Like where in your day are you going to prep that food? Or people are like, man, I'm going to start exercising, or I'm going to start reading all the books. Where in your day are you going to do this? So that's the first thing that you're going to do is actually like map out where in your day you're going to do it. I mapped out 60 minutes. Here's why. 60 minutes of a full day, there are 1,440 minutes in a day. So 60 minutes is like 4% of your day. I know you have 60 minutes. I know even if your schedule is super, super busy, because I know you spend more than 60 minutes scrolling on your phone or consuming television. If you're spending that time consuming other people's crap, you definitely have time to create the life that you actually want to be living, instead of spending that time consuming other people's lives. So this is really important. So we talked about how to become a consistent person. Bam, you're going to start your morning doing something for yourself. Why is this important? It's going to help you move away from the pain. It's going to help you move closer to pleasure, where you're feeling happy, you're feeling like you enjoy life, like you're taking time for yourself. You're going to feel less resentment towards others because you're taking time for yourself. The very first thing that you're going to do is actually map it out on a piece of paper, not just on a computer screen, not just on a digital product, but like an actual piece of paper, so that you can see. And then it's like an appointment with yourself. Like, look, it's on paper. I need to take time for myself. So let's talk about some of the questions that I've been getting about consistency. What do you do when you hit this wall and it seems like this wall is preventing you from being consistent? This is true. This happens for a lot of people. Things are going really well, like, wow, I'm really proud of myself. And then bam, I get sick, or bam, I get hurt, or bam, something happens and I completely unravel. This is, it happens for everyone. It's just a hurdle. And so the thing to do is to realize, like, hey, yeah, there are going to be hurdles and mistakes along the way. Missing a day is not that big of a deal. I think about this, like, if you're like, man, I'm brushing my teeth, like, my teeth feel great, blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh, I fell asleep and forgot to brush my teeth. You're not like the next day, like, oh my gosh, I'm a terrible person, like adding all of this drama. You're like, oh, I'll brush my teeth again. And you're also not like, oh my gosh, now I need to brush my teeth twice a day. You're just like, oh, I'll wake up and brush my teeth. So that's kind of the same thing that we have to do when it comes to our self-care habits. Oh my gosh, I didn't feel so great on Sunday when I didn't eat a vegetable. I guess today I will eat a vegetable. Oh, I didn't feel so great when I didn't get 8 hours of sleep. Okay, I need to go to bed on time so that I get 8 hours of sleep. So when you notice yourself falling off track and you hit that wall, right, this is not the time to freak the F out and add more drama, add more fuel to the drama fire. This is like, oh, I want to be that person who's consistent. Let me move all the drama out of the way and then just go do the thing that helps me be consistent. Right? Okay, so another question that I've been getting is, how do I stop self-sabotaging? So like, how do I avoid that whole thing? And why do I keep self-sabotaging? So this is a big one. Our old selves, as dysfunctional as they are, our old selves like to keep things the same. And so if you try to like, here's my aspirational identity, I'd really like to be blank, your old self will try to sabotage that. Your old self will say, you don't really have to wake up early. You don't really have to go for a walk. It's too cold out. It's winter. Just hibernate. You don't actually have to do that. Your old self will tell you these things to try to keep you the same. I am not one of those people who advises you to yell and scream at your old self. What I like to do is say, thank you, old self, for trying to negotiate with me and try to keep me the same, but I'm okay. It's okay for me to go and do this thing that feels a little bit different. It's okay for me to put a coat on and go outside and go for a walk. It's okay for me to eat this vegetable instead of this 7 slice of pizza. It's okay. It's gonna feel different from what you've done in the past. And it's weird. It's like, as dysfunctional as our past has been, it feels really comfortable to just stay in that yucky place. It feels dangerous. It feels unknown. It feels scary to go and try to be this other person, because that's what it is. When you're doing these new actions, you're being a new person. And when you're being a new person, that's actually cutting off and killing this old identity. So that old identity is like, don't kill me. It's fun just being dysfunctional. Don't go and be that better version of yourself. So it's like, again, don't yell at yourself. Don't kick and scream. I like to thank myself for trying to keep me safe and then going and doing the thing anyways. I've been asked this question a lot too. How do I keep my habits consistent in a world that keeps changing? My kids are going to school. My kids are not going to school. Holidays, not holidays. Vacation, travel sometime in the future. Like how do I stay consistent when all of these external things are not consistent? And that's a really good question because that is life, right? So I always start with, look, I colored it. I think one of the best ways to stay consistent in a world that can feel chaotic is putting yourself first. We have a lot of control over our mornings, afternoons, less control, evenings, less energy. Mornings, you have the most control. So that's why I say start your morning doing the thing that helps you feel good. A lot of people, myself included, I used to wait to do my workout until the end of the night, mostly because I just didn't want to do it. But what would happen was I ran out of energy, I ran out of time, I just was tired. I don't know, I could have gotten sick during the day, whatever, and then the workout wouldn't happen. Or someone was like, hey, let's go out for drinks. Sure, I had a crappy day at work. I'd love to go out for drinks, right? So I think that one of the best ways to stay consistent, because everything, it's like once you leave your morning, it's like everyone's like, here's some stuff. Will you do this for me? One of the best ways to be consistent is to start out your day doing the thing for yourself, putting it on your calendar with pretty markers, making it something in your day that you know, I have to start my day with this thing. I don't feel myself if I don't start my day with this thing. Best thing, if it's important to you, put it first. Another question that I got was, how do you actually start a new habit? Something that you've never actually had be something consistent in your life, and how do you remember that you're trying to make that a habit? This is a really good question. I'm actually going to get into this question in the next video. Don't miss it. It has another principle for you. But let's just go over today. So we talked about being a consistent person, someone who shows up for themselves. It's really important because you matter. You matter for you, and you matter because if you're your best self, then you can show up for other people in the world and be your best self for them. But also just you, like, you matter. There are no extras. Your life matters. Your day matters. What you do during the first hour of your day matters. And so I will leave it at that. I want to hear your takeaways. What stuck out to you? What are you going to implement? What did you learn that you're going to implement? Remember, the only way that we actually grow and change is by doing the thing. So I want to hear, what are you going to implement? Take care.